Okay, welcome back to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. My name is Scott. This one over here is
Rob. Hi.
And we are here to talk about, well, WrestleMania season, I think we call it these days, because it was WrestleMania weekend. Then it kind of became WrestleMania week. And then the more you think about it, it's kind of like a whole season of wrestling shows. It's the build up towards it, the shows, the main shows themselves, of course, with WrestleMania, and then the shows after it. So not just WWE stuff, but what we're going to do here is focus on the WWE stuff, Rob, because of all the shows that are going on, it's got a bit stacked up and congested, right?
It feels like, and you'll understand this reference because it's more of a UK joke, but after New Year, the month of January feels like a year, and WrestleMania is now becoming the month of January, and it just feels like it's gone on forever.
Yeah, and it's good. Like, it's exciting. It is, don't get me wrong, but a lot of these shows get lost in the shuffle. And again, we're going to focus on WWE stuff and the stuff that they can control. To honour that, I've worn this classic Triple H shirt because he's the man with a pencil these days, it seems. So
he's got a pencil, or is he a pen?
He's got a sledgehammer with ink on it, just draws
just
like that. But basically, we're going to come up with some suggestions for Mr. Helmsley and maybe how to kind of combat some of these issues of it being congested, because I think some of these shows have lost their spark because of the unfortunate. You're right there.
Yeah, I was just thinking, does he on his papers? Does he have Hunter vs Helmsley? Is it Mr. Helmsley or is it Mr. Triple H?
Mr. H.
Mr. H.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's work that needs to be done. There's work to be done with just not that part of the calendar, but the entire calendar. So maybe we'll get into that at another point, actually, how we can fix the entire WWE pay-per-view calendar with things like the draft and all that kind of stuff as well. But what we're going to focus on is the time around WWE WrestleMania weekend, week, whatever you want to call it these days, and how to fix. Now, of course, the 2-day WrestleMania thing isn't going away. And while I've had my kind of issues with it in the past, or concerns I should say, I've enjoyed every single one of them, so I'm okay with it.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
because at first you didn't like it.
I didn't like it because I compared it to Wrestle Kingdom, and I don't like it at Wrestle Kingdom when you wouldn't know the main event night 2 because it would happen at night 1. And I kind of get why that's good in some ways, but I didn't like things like that, and which one's the real main, like, you know what I mean? But it's worked quite well. It's quite similar to when you had the World Heavyweight title and the WWE title, and every now and then one was the real main title and then it switched sometimes. So but generally speaking, Sunday night's going to be the main event, like proper main event, and the B main event will be on Saturday. But with that in mind, I think they're going to keep Saturday, Sunday. And again, I'm coming around to the idea now, but it does create problems mainly with NXT and the Hall of Fame. What also creates problems is SmackDown being Friday night. So yes, there's a possibility that Sunday in the future it turns into a Tuesday show again or a Thursday show again. But at the moment, at the time of recording, we have no knowledge of that happening anytime soon. So it looks like it's going to be on Fridays for the foreseeable future, until, we release this, and 2 days later, Fox announced that they're moving it to Wednesdays or something weird like that. But let's say it's going to be like this next year, and this is when we're aiming to fix it for WrestleMania 40, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, that brings up some of the biggest challenges, really. I hated the fact that SmackDown was on a Friday anyway. Like, with WrestleMania week, it's tough. Yeah, okay. Because it's too close to the event. Yeah. I hated WrestleMania SmackDown. And Andre Batworld being on it. But that's neither here nor there.
It's almost as bad as WrestleMania Backlash.
Oh, gosh. Nothing's as bad as WrestleMania Backlash. I'm so glad they've dropped that as well, and it's become Backlash again. Right. So, for me, you got to work around the fact it's not going to move. It's on Friday. Oh. Now, NXT isn't what it was. So, basically, I'm going off of the last time I went there as a fan, right, was WrestleMania in New York 2019, right? Mm-hmm. New York, New Jersey. And then it was a bit of an issue because it does get overwhelming as well. And we'll get to this with the Hall of Fame in a minute, but a lot of things changed, and they've changed since then. So 2 nights, Saturday, Sunday, you didn't have to worry about NXT so much, and NXT was worth going to a lot more, in my opinion. I don't want to crap on the new NXT, but it's not what it was. Let's be honest. Like, I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. Right. Yeah, go on. So it's not must see, whereas it used to. Like, there were times back when we did Talking Beans WrestleMania reviews and stuff like that, where we were umming and ahhing about what was the better show, WrestleMania or that NXT takeover.
There was one point.
That doesn't happen anymore.
No, there was one point where you were speaking more about NXT than you actually did the actual paper.
Yeah. It's mad. Things have changed.
It's crazy.
Don't get me wrong, a lot of those guys on the main roster now, and I'm enjoying that as well. But NXT is not what it was. So we don't have to contend with it as much as we used to. But the Hall of Fame is a real tricky situation in itself. And maybe we'll even do a video on talking about the Hall of Fame and how that can be fixed, because a lot of problems there, in my opinion, as well. As much as I love the Hall of Fame, I want to love it more, but I don't because it's been ruined. But it could be better. But we'll get into that another day. Talking about the week itself or the season. So, how do you propose we fix it? You got to have Monday Night Raw, first of all. Let's start with that. Not in the location of WrestleMania, for me. It shouldn't be in WrestleMania territory.
So do you think, when you say location, though, do you mean it's not just a stone throw down?
It's not in the state. It's not in the same state. Yeah.
Right.
Still part of their regular touring schedule, Monday Night Raw. Because the only one that should be exciting and special is the Raw after Mania.
I agree.
That's going to stay within the season. So, for me, Monday Night Raw, not involved. The last SmackDown, I also don't want involved. Because people are so busy. They're traveling. You're going to Mania, right? There was one thing watching NXT the night before Mania. It's another thing watching a SmackDown. Like, if I was going, if we're doing press one, hey, I'll be there.
They're not happy with their calendar.
But and if it's been built the right way and I'm excited about whatever and I've got nothing else going on, but a lot of times if you go into Mania, you want to see the city as well. You know what I mean? So every night, it's a struggle having a wrestling show every night anyway. So this is one of the problems I've got to contend with. But just even as a wrestling fan, sitting at home, watching it, last year, for example, WrestleMania 38, that SmackDown was just like a nothing show. Like it didn't mean anything. That's annoying. But again, it can't be moved. So SmackDown's going to be on a Friday. Ideally, I wouldn't have it in the same place, but it has to be because it's on a Friday. So that has to stay in the state, right? So Friday's set, Saturday set, Sunday set, all nighttime slots. I assume you don't want to move WrestleMania to the day now. Be better for us in the UK to watch, but
as a spectacle, it needs to be in the evening.
It has to be in the evening, of course. Right. Although sometimes when the lights, when it's still light outside, WrestleMania 31 looked wicked at daylight until it got dark as well. That's quite cool. But right, so that's set, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday set. Monday is not part of the season.
Is that officially the following month, the Monday of the week of? Or
the week of WrestleMania.
Okay, yeah.
They're in another town that Monday. Right. They move into town, I think, Wednesday, Thursday, right? So, at the moment, NXT is the day of WrestleMania Day 1, Saturday, in the daytime. Part of me likes that, because it's not what NXT used to be, and I think it's a kind of gets you ready for the night. But at the same time, especially us covering it, I just want to talk about WrestleMania. I'm in the mood for WrestleMania.
So I would. It's a bit weird.
Yeah.
But we get the WrestleMania access, right?
Yes.
Put NXT on the WrestleMania access and just broadcast it on the daytime.
Because they did used to do, when NXT was slowly moving away from FCW into the Super Indie it became, they put it they did shows at Access. So I'm not opposed to that if it's a daytime thing.
Just do it in daytime. That is a part of the Access experience. You get the NXT show.
I think they need to ditch the name Stand and Deliver, because as much as it's a good name, that's the other song, isn't it? That's Prince Charming. As much as it's a good name, it was pirate themed, and it should be its own pirate themed event. And it was pirate themed because of that WrestleMania. They did it the next year because, they had to keep the pirate theme again.
But why?
But because they put all the marketing into the first year and it got ruined being in the PC. So I'm glad they reused it, but it doesn't need to be that anymore.
This is where they do the prime thing of take away the stupid Stand and Deliver thing, have the NXT what it is, but because it's a part of Access, they could actually literally done that in your house. And then it would be perfect for WWE.
Okay.
So that's how I would have done it. So I would have done.
See, because part of me likes it is like a little preview. It's all wrestling, tonight. But that's only because it's not what it used to be. If it was, again, I keep saying it's super indie NXT.
Like Brooklyn or
give it its own night. It cannot be a daytime thing. It can't be on the same day as WrestleMania. It needs to breathe. But it's just not that. And that would be another discussion about how to fix NXT, maybe. But this is how to fix WWE WrestleMania season. So NXT isn't changing anytime soon, it feels, even though it went to the white and gold rather than the splotty colours, and they thought it was the return of black and gold, but not quite. It's in a transitional period, I think, but I don't think it's ever becoming what it was, or anytime soon at least. So for what it is, I don't know am I okay with it being the daytime? If it's Access,
are you okay with it being the daytime? I think put it on Access and then record it, because you're going to get the show, you're going to have fans hyped anyway. As a part of Access, you're going to get people will swarm.
But doesn't it deserve its own day? Even though if it's not what I used to think, you're just no.
because you then get if you do NXT in the daytime, drop that gets released, right? Okay. And that's streamed on the daytime, whatever. Do a live stream or however you want to do it. Tuesday night, you get your Hall of Fame.
Okay, here's my other option.
Okay,
right. When is NXT on now these days? It's on a Tuesday. It's on Wednesdays. It's back on Wednesdays.
When was AEW? AEW's Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So it's Tuesdays.
It's Tuesdays, right? I definitely watch NXT.
I believe it's Tuesday. I'll watch NXT.
This is the problem, though, isn't it, with NXT? How do I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday, right? That kind of brings up a new issue. But I'd basically... It'd be easy if it was Wednesday, but I would take its regular slot, like they did before with their special NXT episodes, because it's not a takeover like they used to be. They don't feel like takeovers in the same way anymore. They feel like the specials. And like AEW do those cool specials as well, where they take over a Dynamite and it becomes a takeover, pun not intended. But let's say Tuesday. Tuesday feels too early, but they're rolling into town anyway. Raw is over here, different roster completely. Tuesday night, WrestleMania week is your extravaganza for NXT. So I like the idea of Tuesday night. Might be too early for fans to come and watch, but at the same time, not that many fans are coming and watching the daytime on Saturday anyway. And if it's at Access, you're only dealing with them anyway. So people do get there early for WrestleMania. Not that many, not the 70,000 that might be going to Mania, but at least will be a good pool of people to at least make a 4,000 venue look good or something like that. And you do it on Tuesday night, give it its own thing on its regular TV slot and things like that. What about that?
I'll take it. For the sake of this, I think daytime for Access. I like the idea of it being at Access because you then get...
But that could be something else like the way it used to be. Something else at Access.
But I just love the idea of... Because they've not done it. So NXT TakeOver. They should have just called it NXT...
TakeOver Access.
Or NXT TakeOver in your house.
Yeah.
So they're taking over. And obviously because it's a WWE brand, you're going to be there. You're going to be hyped for the thing. You do your Access tour. Or your meet and greets. And then the NXT put on the show after.
Okay.
For me, that just feels like... You get a lot of value on that just the first day. If you're
again, I like the daytime thing because I'm thinking, can we do both? But if we do, one doesn't mean as much as the other. So, okay, we'll park that there with NXT for a bit. The Hall of Fame, and again, I think we should go in the Hall of Fame at another point, much deeper. But the Hall of Fame itself, without getting into a presentation, the things that I think need to be fixed, just its day needs to be fixed. It cannot be going on after SmackDown anymore. I think it's terrible.
Make it
Thursday, right? So the spaces we've got left at the moment are Thursday, Wednesday.
See, the problem with Wednesday is AEW. And
even still, it'd be too late at night to put on after AEW, even though in America it's not so bad.
No.
I think the idea that they're seeing now is you go to both shows and you stick around and you watch Hall of Fame. But of course, at the moment we're talking about this day itself. I think Thursday is good, man. Why not? It used to be on the Saturday, the night before Mania. Then NXT took that slot, and I think it was on Friday once, maybe.
SmackDown went to Friday.
So it needs to be on Thursday. And the argument is, I bet there won't be a lot of people there. But that will come into my thoughts on how to fix the Hall of Fame in other ways when we actually deep dive into that. Because I've taught myself into it, Rob. I think we're going to do that.
So when you're saying that they do it after the SmackDown.
Yeah.
It's not the same building, though, is it?
It is.
So because they drape the ropes, don't they? And then it's because they now get into the ring. Obviously, that'll be its own discussion. But is that the same ring that's then used for the show then? Okay, I thought it was a separate setup.
As you can tell, I'm getting a little bit annoyed just even thinking about it, mate. But yeah, I just hate what the Hall of Fame has become.
What's more, out of curiosity,
what annoys me more?
What annoys you more? And I'll give you 3 things: the Freebird rule. The Hall of Fame, when the way it's all set up now, or when you go to Survivor Series and you have a half.
Oh, they can all get in the bin, mate. I ain't even giving it a time of day.
You have to have one of them.
I have to have one of them.
Yeah. I can see you rocking a half and half t-shirt. I've never seen you so silent.
The half and half if Survivor Series is done better. But that goes into fixing the calendar, which again, we'll probably do.
Bring that
anyway, yeah. Right, we can only fix one thing at once here, mate. Well, fixing the Hall of Fame, yeah, I think the that's its own thing. Fixing the WrestleMania season Thursday night. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'll take a Thursday.
And I get into more of that why when we do a deeper dive on that. But yeah, Thursday night for me. Still not sure about NXT. So does that mean let's leave NXT out of it for now? Raw is in a different state. They come to town, whether it be Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they set up. Hall of Fame will be on Thursday. SmackDown, annoyingly, will be in the same location on Friday. Just kind of need to make it mean more. And I know their answer to that is probably WrestleMania Saturday. WrestleMania SmackDown even. That's not it, man. That's not it for me.
It's got to be, the thing is as well, we used to have this big thing of the Raw go-home show.
Yeah.
Obviously, so fans that are new, obviously, to explain it, the go-home show is the final Raw before the event.
Yeah.
And I would buy that if SmackDown wasn't a thing. And no matter what you do, the Raw go-home show is great. But if SmackDown comes after, SmackDown is the penultimate.
Yeah.
Before
and it's never as good. There was even a time where, we were doing videos around Raw after Mania this year just because it feels exciting again. But we're not doing SmackDown after Mania. But there was a time where that became a thing, SmackDown after Mania, because of split rosters. Now, on the opposite side of that, are you opposed to just ditching SmackDown in that week?
Oh no,
not over just.
I thought you meant in general.
No, not in general, but just it's kind of in a way, man. Like, and having Raw as the go home,
you know what's
like the
way?
mega go home show.
The Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is in the way,
but it has to be in that week.
It has to be, but
it could be SummerSlam.
I think we just move Hall of Fame in general.
Let us know in the comments, guys. What would you do? Move it to SummerSlam or to give SummerSlam's become
its own thing now.
Maybe that's a good idea.
That frees the week up. It makes it less clunky. It's a bit more relaxed.
But it's just that whole, like, they're part of the WrestleMania celebrations. You know what would be nice? If they're announced at WrestleMania.
In going on SummerSlam.
Yeah, so they all come out in their no, but then a lot of times it's about, I haven't seen him in 10 years. This is what he looks like now, or his family, because he passed away, have come along, and you don't want to get that twice. Well, it's great twice when it's the night after and they play that cool music at WrestleMania, and they all come out and stand on their little stars or circles. But
do that again? I thought you were doing, Tommy when he plays the flute, but he calls on a dragon sword.
It's morphin' time. Right, no, that's not what we're talking about. But yeah, for me, that's kind of getting into it. So maybe we move something. We've got to decide on these things.
I mean,
I kind of think it needs to be part of WrestleMania week.
It does, but then don't do NXT.
But you see, I'm in the mind of how it was 5, 6, 7 years ago when it was all working and it was great. As far as the slotting, where I'm like, yeah, but NXT needs to be there, and the benefits of them being in front of that crowd and being part of it and whatever. Because you see a lot of that, especially the people that are at the top of the main roster now. You look back to, Charlotte and that getting to perform with Triple H and, all that kind of stuff when they were under the masks. Alexa Bliss as well. I think Sasha Banks was another one. But I don't know.
The problem is, if we have Raw as its own thing, then the week of WrestleMania access isn't complete. Like, I think even though we don't want it in the same location, Raw has to be in the same location.
And the thing is, they can't not get rid of... I was going to say get rid of Raw as well and just say it's like a super go-home show. Like, remember when they did the Super Show era? But still, you have to still call it Raw because they can't break the longest weekly episodic rubbish,
right,
So
how about Raw and SmackDown they're in the same venue.
Okay.
Right, so we have Raw and SmackDown. It's in a local area, the next arena or whatever it is, arena or something. They're in the same venue, and both of them, the first one is the build-up, and the Raw is the build-up, and SmackDown is the payoff for the go-home show. So we get the first bit, and basically Raw and SmackDown are super shows.
So are these different nights?
So Raw would be Monday, SmackDown would be
That's
Friday.
basically what we've got, though.
Yeah, but it's in the same location, and then both of them are super shows.
So talent from both rosters. Okay.
So it's a build-up, and then the go-home
maybe.
show is bigger on Friday.
Yeah, because that would cover if, like, a certain person... Because last year, it was like Brock and Roman weren't on it. And it was like they were the biggest part of SmackDown, but they weren't on it.
I think do that.
But Raw stars would be able to cover for that, or... I don't know. It's tough.
Bearing in mind, 2 sets of titles are being carried. The Uso, the Bloodline, are carrying a Raw title and a SmackDown title.
Yeah.
So there has to be a crossover there.
Yeah. But that's the whole thing about the split anyway. Is it really a split these days? Okay. we're going to have to knuckle down. Let's say, all right, Raw, Monday Night Raw, either way, is not in the same location for me.
Do you not like? I don't know. I like if it's in the same location.
Because you go there for the, like, it needs to be touring. It's not WrestleMania yet. We're on the way. We're nearly there.
Yeah, but that Monday is the build to WrestleMania, though. Unless you start your working.
Yeah, but I don't go on holiday. If I'm going to WrestleMania, I don't go there to watch the last Raw. Same reason I don't go to. I mean, SmackDown just can't move. Annoyingly, it's in the way.
If you travel to America and you go to the thing, what day do you get there? Would you? I'm assuming
I'd go there a few days early because I always wanted to spend.
See the site.
Yeah, I'll probably get there depending on what was going on Wednesday.
Okay.
Tuesday or Wednesday. I want a night or two where I'm not doing anything.
Is that a Wednesday the week prior, so you get a couple of days, or is that a Wednesday of WrestleMania week?
Oh no, of the week.
Of the week, okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to think, because I haven't had the privilege of being able to do it yet, the chance to do it. Obviously, it's been in the works. But even just thinking about Raw here, NXT here, the Hall of Fame, and I'm thinking, I'm worn out.
It's too much. It is. That's why Raw shouldn't be part of it. So keep Raw away.
Let's keep Raw away.
Keep Raw away. Then, for me, I think NXT should have its own thing. But at the moment, maybe it's not ready to. So maybe this Access thing's better.
Okay, so put NXT in Access until it's in a position to have its own entity again.
Yeah, and then when that comes, Takeover Tuesday. If it gets Takeover, if it gets really hot like it was before, we'll have to figure out something else.
I think put it on Wednesday to compete against AEW.
Ooh, that's spicy. And then Hall of Fame on Thursday. Yeah. If we're keeping it with Mania, but there is something to be said for moving it to SummerSlam. Let's just keep it with Mania just for now because I don't think they want to move it. And then Friday SmackDown has to be where it is, but just make it a bit better.
I think the Friday, even if it's not Raw, Friday should be the go home Super Show. That should be everything because you can't just go home on the SmackDown stuff. It's WrestleMania for kind of.
Yeah. There has to be something big that leads into it. Yeah. And then, I mean, that's weird. Hall of Fame and then SmackDown, but like it's not working the way it is for me. Especially same night, I think it's terrible.
I think if you're doing the Hall of Fame, right, and this is the way I look at it, everyone that's in there, maybe a couple words, I'm skeptical on. Obviously, that's a Hall of Fame conversation in itself, but they worked that long for their entire career, not just in WWE, but everywhere, right? They should have their own night to do it.
Yeah, they shouldn't be a bigger deal.
It shouldn't be on because fans are tired.
Yeah,
you know, like how many times have we been to shows? Just in the UK, and we're like, dead, man.
It's flat, but again, that's a whole conversation for the other one. But
hard.
It's long. Hall of Fame's long as it is.
And plus, to keep them there, and again, Taker's talk was fantastic.
Yeah,
but fans were so tired that I don't think they were grasping everything. So making it its own night.
It needs to.
I think it needs to have its own.
I think that's one of the biggest things that we got to take away from this is that Hall of Fame needs to be on its own day. Yeah. But yeah, Thursday's all right. It's good. And then we go to Friday Night SmackDown, so you just make something of it. WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday, and the Raw after Mania keep in the location. So then one of them is in the location. One Raw, you get to see a Raw and a SmackDown. You get to see a go home that hopefully means something, and a Raw after Mania that's really exciting. If you had split rosters that really meant something, and you want to make something out of the SmackDown after Mania, that worked better when it was on a Tuesday. But then, hey, that's what the next town get to enjoy. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's okay to do. So for me, I think that's what we'll settle on, right? So let's just recap. Raw, somewhere else. WWE crew move into the town on about Tuesday, Wednesday, start setting up. You can figure it out yourselves, logistic-wise, WWE. And then on Thursday, you have the Hall of Fame. On Friday, you have SmackDown, but you make it mean something. We're sticking with NXT being daytime. I'm still not 100% sure on this, but it's going to be at Access, which I do like the idea of because they used to do stuff like that before anyway. And then on top of that, WrestleMania Saturday, Sunday as normal, and then Monday Night Raw to send everyone home happy after that. Okay. Well, talking about
good.
It does feel good. And it's nice to talk about.
I feel the NXT, but then if we're doing it, I do think if it's NXT, then it's in your house.
Okay. So you want that branding?
It has to be that because it's in NXT or WWE's bubble
in their house.
In their house.
It's a play on the words.
So
I like that.
I think it has to work. Okay. That's what it should be.
Okay. Well, let us know what you think, guys, in the comments below. Follow us at RM Pro Wrestling on Twitter, Instagram, and all those fun spaces out there as well. Or the generic Rebellious Noise handle, which is REBNOISE, for all your overall Rebellious Noise goods. Of course, we don't just talk about pro wrestling, but you are specifically tuned in here to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. Please subscribe. And again, we'd love to hear what you think about this in the comments below as well. I've been Scott. This one over here has been
Rob. Hi.
And, well, it's more of a pie, mate. Yeah, you missed your chance for a high. And we will see you on the next one. Thanks very much.